when you tell somebody that Alabama is going to make it back to the college football playoffs this year because of how good their quarterback play is going to be, people tend to laugh at you because they scoff at the idea of Ty Simpson being good enough to help elevate this Alabama offense. But nobody really should be laughing at Ty Simpson because what he's about to do this season at Alabama is going to be reminiscent shades to what we saw Mac Jones do 5 years ago when he led Alabama to an undefeated season in the national championship. Because the same way people scoff at Ty Simpson was the same way people scoffed at Mac Jones. Remember, when Mac Jones was expected to become the starter, nobody really wanted him to start because Bryce Young was the more flashier player. Although he was a true freshman and he was unproven with how dominant he was at modern day, everybody rather see him because he was a more exciting player to watch than Mac Jones, who was a prototypical drop back passer, didn't really have a lot of mobility. And you see how that turned out. Mac Jones ended up having the most prolific season for an Alabama starting quarterback ever. And we can see that same scenario play out with Ty Simpson because Ty Simpson has a lot of similarities in his game to Mac Jones. He's slightly more athletic than what Mac Jones is, but his game is predicated off being able to shred your defense from within the pocket. And he definitely should be able to do that with Alabama having a top 10 offensive line coming into this season. He also has arguably the best wide receiver trio in all of college football, throwing to Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, who they got from Miami out of the transfer portal, and Ryan Williams, who's the second best wideout in college football. And let's not forget that Kalen DeBoer's tag team partner comes down to Tuscaloosa this year, and Ryan Grubb. And we remember the amount of damage that these two brothers did when they last were together 2 years ago at Washington. So everything that Ty Simpson has around him should ensure that he has nothing but a successful season in his first full-time campaign as Alabama's starting quarterback. And I don't believe that Ty Simpson even has to be as good as what Mac Jones was in 2020. All he has to do is be better than what Jalen Milroe was last year, which shouldn't really be that hard. Jalen Milroe was a large reason for why Alabama's first season under Kalen DeBoer was the disappointment that it was. Rather, if you want to admit it or not, if you want to say he doesn't deserve all of the blame, okay, cool, but he does deserve a large chunk of it. And yeah, there were some other factors that kind of failed Jalen Milroe, but his inability to hit the forward pass at times, overthrowing guys who were running wide open 5-yard slants, was a huge hindrance to this offense. Ty Simpson is going to be a fresh air for Alabama fans because you finally are going to see a quarterback that's going to throw the ball with more accuracy consistently and isn't just going to be a one-trick pony trying to spam deep balls to Ryan Williams all game. No, you have a quarterback in Ty Simpson that actually is going to be able to carve you up from the pocket. And the last time Kalen DeBoer had a really good quarterback operating out in the pocket, it was Michael Penix, and he was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. Ty Simpson, his floor is a lot higher than what you may believe. Folks want to see Keelan Russell start because he can do more. He's more mobile. He's going to be more fun to watch. But Flash doesn't win national championships, people. Think about the last 3 national champions. Think about who their quarterbacks were. Ohio State just won a national championship with Will Howard, who was a 6th-round pick. The year before that, Michigan won the national championship with the handoff merchant, J.J. McCarthy. And the year before that, 3 years ago, Georgia went back-to-back with the mailman, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sir Stetson Bennett, who was a walk-on. You don't need flashy quarterback to win in college football. Flash hasn't won national championships the last 3 years. Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have the flashy guy that's inconsistent like what Jalen Milroe was? Because he was flashy And look where that got Alabama. Nowhere. Ty Simpson, on the other hand, he isn't flashy, but he'll be good enough to get the job done because I'd rather have a Toyota Camry that's consistent, that doesn't break down on me, that's good on gas, versus having a pre-owned Lamborghini Urus that has all of these maintenance problems. You got to get the battery changed every 2-3 months. You got to constantly get oil changes. It's always a problem with the car. That's what Jalen Milroe was. He was a used Lamborghini Purus or Urus, however you call it. Yeah, when he was at his best, you understood why he was a Heisman frontrunner at times. But when he was at his worst, he really kept Alabama's offense stuck in the mud. You don't need flash to win in college football anymore. Some of the best teams that have won national championships have done it with just having consistent, reliable quarterback play, and that's what Ty Simpson is going to give Alabama. At least you know that you're not going to see a guy going 9 of 22 in the biggest game of the year like what Jalen Milroe did last year. I believe in Ty Simpson. Not all solely because I believe he's a capable quarterback, but he just has a better situation this year than what Jalen Milroe had last year. You don't always need the most super athletic guy to have a good quarterback. And when you think about the history of the Alabama teams that won under Nick Saban, he didn't have the most flashiest quarterback in the world. He won his first natty at Alabama with Greg McElroy. Then he won back-to-back with A.J. McCarron. And then he won another one with Blake Barnett, Mac Jones. Some of Nick Saban's most least talented quarterbacks were the ones that won him national titles. So if Nick Saban can win with quarterbacks that weren't as talented as Bryce Young and Tua, Alabama can compete for a national championship year 2 under Kalen DeBoer with Ty Simpson as long as he is consistent. Some of you guys confuse flash with what actually works, and that is consistency. Keelan Russell is going to have his time next year after Ty Simpson balls out. But for right now, Ty Simpson is the guy who gives Alabama the best chance to win. And just laughing at Ty Simpson because he's unproven and he's not that flashy, I feel it's a joke that's not going to age well.